What's up, guys? I'm back sitting on the back of the truck out here in the clear cut filming videos. Same shirt as I had on some of the other videos for you that noticed. Yeah, it is the same shirt because I filmed 4 videos in one day. If you haven't been paying attention, that's how I do things. I take one day, one weekend, an afternoon. I come out here and I got 4 or 5 video topics and I knock them out. All one trip, you know, that way I don't have to come out here once a week. And I can take one, edit it, load it, and then I'm good the whole rest of the week. And then when Monday comes around, I take the next one, I edit it, and I load it. There you go. That's how I do things. So anyway, this video, the title and everything, you can tell is the only two handguns. Only 2 handguns you ever need to own. If I could only pick 2 handguns, what would they be? It'd be this. Not a Glock 26. It would be an MP Shield, not as a primary, as a secondary, and the Glock 19. Why? Is a Glock 19 and an MP Shield the only 2 guns I would ever need to own? Funny you should ask. I'm going to tell you. Glock 19. I tell people on Glock Nation, on Facebook groups, or wherever they want to know, I tell them, what gun should I get? What's my first beginner or whatever? I say Glock 19. It's big enough to do anything. You can put a light on it. You know, TLR, Surefire, whatever you want to put, you can put a light on it. It's big enough to get a full hand on, pinky and all, without any kind of extension. You've got a decent sight radius. You can put a red dot on top. You can do whatever you want to with a Glock 19, and it's big enough to handle it. But it's also small enough that you can conceal it. You can conceal it on your hip, appendix, whatever you want to do. You can get it done with this Glock 19. You can fight with it. Like even guys overseas, I saw one guy, he posted, he's buying a gun for a bunch of his company, like contractors. He needs a battle pistol that sometimes needs to be concealed. What did I say? Glock 19, big enough to fight with, small enough to carry covert, undercover, concealed, whatever you want to call it. And it's 9mm, 40 cal sucks. And 15 rounds, 16, you know, if you top off one, whatever you want to do. Yeah, you could say like I'm a Jägermite or whatever they call them. I do spend a lot of time on his live streams talking to the homeboys, and you know, James Yeager, every gun should be a Glock 19. Basically, he's not literally saying it should be made by Glock and it should be a model 19. He's saying it should be a compact 9mm striker fired handgun. MP 2.0, Glock 19, whatever you want to call it. If you don't like Glock, you don't like the way they look, feel, whatever, MP 2.0, go for it. The 4-inch barreled version, the one that's this size. Yeah, he's been saying for years, Glock 19, only gun you know, every gun should be a Glock 19. I believe him. I believe him now. I'm gonna go into story time in a few minutes or a few seconds, whatever, and I'll kind of unfold my handgun history, what brought me to this Glock 19, which is brand new Gen 5 MOS. But anyway, main gun, if you only buy one, get a Glock 19. If you have room to get 2, let me put this back up. If you have room in the budget to get 2, get an MP Shield. Why? Because it's single stack, it's thin. Everybody's like, oh man, the Glock 43X and 48, all that. Yeah, those are probably pretty good guns. I dig the silver slide, that's a nice touch. I wish more came in that, just because whole 2-tone thing. But the Glock 43X and the Glock 48 are, let me rephrase that. The MP Shield is the original Glock 43X and Glock 48. Smith & Wesson got it right the first time. Glock come out with the 42, which is 380. Who the crap wants 380? I mean, everybody's like, single stack Glock, single stack Glock. It's 380. It's 380. It's like, you know, come out with a 43. it's a little bit too small. Only holds 6 rounds. This holds 7 or 8. You know, 43 is very popular. A lot of dudes carry it. But I mean, 6 rounds, come on now. I think it might even be like a true single stack, which a shield is kind of a staggered stack, like a 1.5 stack, I call it. 7 rounds, 8 rounds with the pinky. But anyway, MP Shield was the originator, the first one to do it. There's nothing wrong with Shield. This is a 1.0. This isn't even a 2.0. You can get these like 250 bucks on Palmetto. You can say whatever you want about Palmetto. This one's made by Smith & Wesson. It's American made, so whatever. Find the best price you can and get one. Get 5. Doesn't matter. You know, if you get more than one, you could probably give one to your wife, because she's probably gonna like one. My wife carries this MP Shield. This is her gun. I told her she can get whatever gun she wants, as long as it was Glock or Smith & Wesson, and it was 9mm. Whatever size she wanted, she could get. She decided on MP Shield. I was okay with that. It's an awesome gun. It's thin, it's not as heavy. Backup gun, put it on your ankle. I've carried my Glock 26 with the 10 round mag, the flush one. Carry it on my ankle all the time. Like if I wear a suit or I got tucked my shirt in, whatever, I just carry it on my ankle. I haven't really gotten big into the backup gun, carrying 2 gun thing yet. I'm not totally against it, but just hasn't struck me the right way yet. You know, it might happen in the future, who knows. But anyway, this one's a little thinner. It's pretty much the same profile, as long as you have the 7 round mag in there. Same profile as Glock 26. It's thinner and lighter, and would probably be a little more comfortable on the ankle, as long as you put it in a nice holster, like a Galco ankle glove or ankle light, or one of those Galco. So anyway, backup gun, Smith & Wesson MP Shield. Main gun, Glock 19. There you go, 9mm. Well, the mags aren't interchangeable. Well, who cares? Like Mr. James Yeager says, it's a spare mag with a gun wrapped around it. I mean, what? It's bullets and you can shoot them. It doesn't matter if it's in a mag or in a whole nother gun. It's bullets and they can be shot. And that one, another good point. I know I'm spitting off James Yeager quotes all day, but you know, he's been in the business for a while. He's seen a lot, and he's got some good information. So anyway, put this over here. He says MP Shield makes a good backup gun or ankle gun because if crap goes down, you can take the shield off and give it to your wife, because most people's wives don't like to carry guns. They're just not into that thing, but they can shoot an MP Shield pretty decently. Take the shield, give it to them. There you go. You got your 19, she's got the shield. Bingo bongo, everybody's shooting at bad guys. Alright, makes me feel better. It's in a holster. I can set it down. Story time. I'm going over all that stuff. Now it's time for stories. My first gun ever, first handgun, like adult gun besides 22 or BB gun, was a SIG P250 in 40 cal. You got it right. This was like 6-7 years ago. I got a SIG P250 in 40 cal because Nothing Fancy said it was a good gun. And it was. I mean, it felt great. It just was the wrong gun for the wrong time. They should have come out with the 320 first. The striker fired version should have come out with it first. The P250 should have never even been a thing. The double action trigger and a modern pistol is just stupid. Make it striker fired, SIG. But anyway, I was new, didn't have any training, didn't know anything about pistols. It was you know, $400 or $500. It was cheaper than a Glock. It felt good in my hand, and it was a 40 cal, and I was gonna do work with it. Till I got home and realized the mags were expensive, and nobody made a holster for it, especially if you want to put a light or something like that on there. So that's why don't buy a hipster gun. Don't buy the brand new gun that comes out if you think it's cool. buy something that's proven, that has a market, a support market for, there's support in the market for, yeah. Buy something that you can buy parts for and holsters for and find mags and all that stuff for cheap. Glock mags, 20, 25 bucks. Anyway, 250 and 40 cal. I got tired of not being able to find mags that weren't 50 bucks or $40. I couldn't find any holsters, so I said, you know what, screw it, I'll sell it, I'll get a Glock. So I sold it, and that's what I bought. This here Glock 17. You say, why did you go from a 250, a compact model, to a full-size 17? Well, like I said, I was new, didn't know nothing about carrying a gun, which I did carry the 250 some in a Uncle Mike's floppy sock holster, universal fit, bingo. So anyway, I went to the store. They had a like an orange one or the gray one, the plastic. I said, hey, do you mind if I try this in a holster, you know, and see how I like it? Well, I did. It was one of the holsters that, like, it buried the gun in my pants, like the finger grooves were on the belt, like that far. And I was like, yeah, man, this thing hides great. You know, buy the biggest gun you can carry, and you know, that's what you should do. So I did, and bought the Glock 17, not realizing that that's not how you carry a gun. You need some room to get your fingers in there, which pulls it, whatever. This was before I started appendix carrying. I carried on the hip. I actually carried this full-size Glock 17 for like 3 or 4 years on my hip, outside the waistband, under t-shirts, under button-up shirts, all that stuff. The problem was it printed a little bit more than I would like. It was kind of heavy, and I was finding myself not wanting to carry it hardly at all because of how big and bulky it was. Appendix carry was out the window because I didn't know anything about appendix carry. This was before all the cool guy holsters come out. You know, it was long, I couldn't move, and the handle poked out and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what, I gotta get me another pistol that I can carry every day, everywhere I go. So the Glock 17 was out. I didn't sell it because I don't like selling guns, especially ones that are good, that work. So this became the dedicated like go to war gun, battle belt gun, home defense, whatever you want to call it. Slap a light on there, it stays in a holster, it stays ready to go for invasion time, big gun time. So I set the 17 aside and went with a 26. Somebody asked me, like, why don't you go with a 19? Which I should have listened like 4 or 5 years ago. But my theory was, well, it's only a little bit smaller than the 17, and 17 is super uncomfortable, so I'm just going to go to the 26 as small as I can, and it'll be awesome. And I think the Shield might even have been out, and so I was considering going with the Shield. So that, you know, that's the two guns I've been talking about, 19 and Shield, and why I didn't go with them. The reason I didn't go with the Shield, it was a single stack. I didn't want it to be my primary gun, or I didn't want my primary gun to be a single stack, 7 rounds, you know, and mag compatibility. Like with this one, I can carry a 17 round spare mag with it. I didn't have to buy new mags for it. All of them fit. You know, that kind of stuff. Stuff that when you get more training, more experience, you find it's not really that big of a deal. But to me back then it was. So 26 it was, and 26 is not a bad option. I just don't think it's better than a 19 for most people, because it's kind of short. The grip is really small. You know, it's really short. It's hard to get used to. The slide, you know, the barrel being small, it doesn't affect accuracy. You know, I mean, realistically, I've taken classes with 26, taken like 3 or 4 with it. I've shot fine. I've shot better than people with full-size guns. You know, that has nothing to do with the shootability of the gun. But like the main thing that pointed me toward the 19 was the slide length when you're carrying appendix. Go watch my how to carry appendix video, or whatever I feel like titling it. Watch it and you can see what I talk about leverage on the gun and how to push it back toward the body. You need a little bit of length on the barrel to create leverage. In my 26 holsters appendix, it just let the gun, you know, flop out the top. Pretend this is an appendix holster. It lets the top of the gun flop out. So what did I do? I bought a 19 length holster and carried my 26 in it, because the extra length helped with concealability. I figured out how to adjust the gun carrying an appendix, so the slide length wasn't a problem. It actually helped. I found out a way to make it help. And I figured I'm already carrying a 19 length holster. The only other issue was this right here, the handle length. And you can look right here, the 26, you know, if you've got the blank, the flush base plate, it sucks to try to hold this thing with the no pinky. I mean, it's like barely even 2 fingers on there. But if you notice where my hand creases right here, the back of that thing falls right into it and almost like makes the gun want to flop forward. But if you look with my 19, it pushes right here, and when I squeeze, it stays straight. When I squeeze this one, you see how it just falls into that crease, and it wants the gun, you know, it pushes the gun higher, and it's just not very comfortable. Another thing, when I draw it, it's so small, like sometimes I would draw it and my hand would, you know, it would fall like that in my hand and it'd be really weird. Wouldn't have a good draw stroke, a good grip. And on a reload, if you're reloading with a short mag, which I hardly ever do, I usually reload with a 17 round mag, but anyway, the short mag, if you get a little bit of meat right here in the way and you hit, or your fingers in the way, it's not going to stick in there. You're going to catch it on the finger or the meat. It's not going to go in all the way. So what you have to do is like flare this out really bad and like slam it really awkward like to get it to go in home, which wasn't a huge problem. I just didn't like it. So I figured I was already carrying 19 length, and then I noticed how much awkward the grip was in my palm. So I tried out a 19, and it just fell perfect into its place. I've already got 19 length holsters from my 26. Feels great right there. As long as you got a good holster with a wing and all that, you can conceal the handle perfectly. And then again, if there's instances or circumstances where I can't conceal the longer handle, or I don't want to, I always got the 26 to fall back on. You know, I don't like selling guns, especially when they're good and they work. So that's why I still have a 17 and still have the 26. Now I've got the whole family. Quick battery change and we're back, which is probably good because I think I'm starting to ramble and nobody likes that. Anyway, the only 2 guns you need to buy: Smith & Wesson MP Shield for the times when you need a little small guy, and a Glock 19 Gen 1, 2, 3, or 5. You can get a 4. My 26 and 17 are Gen 4s. Haven't had problems with them. But you never go wrong with 3 or the 5. This one's a 5 MOS. Got front slide serrations, the plate, all that Gucci cool guy stuff. Anyway, Glock 19 MP Shield, the only 2 guns you'll ever need until you want to buy another one for some other reason. But first 2 guns you should ever get in this order: Glock 19, MP Shield, or an MP 2.0 and a Glock 43X or 48.